5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We about to have a blast today.
Hello, all you happy people.
Let's do a junkie roll call.
Sound off like you got a pair.
The great Dadakuji.
What country you from?
What?
What ain't no country I ever heard of?
She probably still got an old school TV.
Why do you say this to me?
I'm the only girl, so I wanted to do anything that my brothers were doing.
Oh, yeah, you blend.
She's cute too, huh?
Indeed!
That's fine. Just give us a second.
She with you?
The film was just lazy. Like I said, they like vision.
But you got to have vision.
I'm a big JRPG person.
We've just lost half the audience.
Supposed to be full.
Oh, why?
But he'd have to be fast. I'm your man.
No, you're not. You're too slow.
It ain't just about being fast.
I did not see one Asian in that movie.
Let's not stand on ceremony here.
It's a business. Who cares about the people's feelings?
Aim for the bushes.
I could do this all day.
I got big boy pants on!
Hey, what's going on out there, junkies? It's Kenshiro, and we're live on Culture Junkies Live. We're coming back to you at 7 o'clock p.m. This is going to be our new permanent time for the show. But, you know, today we're going to talk about, we got to go see Doctor Strange yesterday for a 15-minute preview, and we loved every second of it. We can't wait to tell you about it. Also, Supergirl premiered yesterday. We're going to talk a little bit briefly about that. We're also going to talk about The Flash a little bit, and also Legends of Tomorrow. But on top of that, there's some other stuff that we're going to talk about, you know, but let's go ahead and get to it. Let's go ahead and have fun. First, let me introduce who's going to be on the show with me today. The great Dadakuji will be joining us later. He's just getting off work. As soon as he gets home, he'll chime in. But first and foremost, we got the great GQ. What's going on, brother? That it is. And we also got the big Kahuna joining us today. What's going on, family?
What's going on, everybody?
Good to have you. Good to have you. So, guys, let's talk about what's really important here. Let's talk about Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange. What yesterday? What we saw. I mean, there's no other way to put it, really. It blew our minds. It absolutely blew our minds. So real briefly, Kahuna, why don't you get started? What did you like about Doctor Strange in the 15 minutes that we got to see?
Oh man, I loved everything about it. The just everything, man. The special effects is ridiculous. I mean, this movie is Inception times 10 on crack with a Red Bull chaser.
On crack with a Red Bull chaser. Interesting way of putting things. What else did you? I mean, like, what was your biggest takeaway from that movie, or from the footage that we saw? Did it match up with everything that you? With everything that you, how can I put it? That you liked.
Yeah. It was, God, I can't even describe like how it's crazy, man. I mean, it's very psychedelic. The colors is crazy. It actually impressed me more than I thought it was going to be. I mean, just I made a comment that, you know, somebody's taking recreational drugs, they're gonna really enjoy this movie because it's so psychedelic. I mean, just crazy stuff happening. I mean, you definitely gonna have to see this movie 2-3 times just to probably take in everything that's happening because stuff just happens so fast in the movie. But I mean, looks like the story is gonna be good. I mean, you got the little humor that, you know, Marvel always throws in really good humor. But yeah, I was never, you know, when I was young, I read Doctor Strange, but I can't remember it all. I wasn't a huge fan of Doctor Strange. But after seeing this, I definitely would like to go back and revisit Doctor Strange and get familiar with the story before I see the movie.
Absolutely. GQ, what was your thoughts and takeaways from Doctor Strange last night?
I thought it did an outstanding job with it. The visuals are completely. It's almost like you look at it this way: the Matrix kind of opened your mind to different possibilities and different little things that could be done with movies. Inception kind of broadened that a little bit, and then Doctor Strange is going to make Inception look like it was just like the training stage of a game. It's honestly it's beyond anything that you could imagine, and I'm going to go on record and say that. Secondly, the other thing about it that I liked is it did something that's extremely important to me with Marvel characters. It took a character that I didn't really care much about and made him interesting to me. That's the same thing they did with Thor the first time around and Captain America the first time around. I didn't care about either one of those two characters, and then after their first films, it's like, oh wait, there's something interesting about them. Let me check this out. And they did this with only 15 minutes of random footage because it wasn't like they showed us a full on scene or anything. They showed us a couple of mixed things throughout the movie with no context, context to tie them together. So I mean, it's I'm fully on board with this one. I can't wait to until November 4th comes around. We can go out and see the whole story.
Now you had an interesting take when you were talking about Doctor Strange after we saw it last night. You said that you might actually go and buy some of the books. And were you just being facetious, or did Marvel really stoke your fires that hard that you really want to learn that much more about the character that you go and buy the books?
They made it interesting enough to the point where I would go out and probably get a couple of trade paperbacks to read up on the character a little bit more. Because it's just before I just really had no interest in him. Obviously, knew of the character. They even had the animated film that Marvel put out that I actually did not see, but I'll probably check it out one of these days now. It's just I like the fact that Marvel is able to do that, and it just goes to show, and this isn't necessarily DC bashing, but at the same time it is, that DC has like their top dogs like Superman, Batman, over and over and over again, and it's like here's Marvel with like their leftovers basically. And they're making their leftover characters like shine and look like really good and really interesting and making you interested in it. Versus I already know everything there is to know about Batman and Superman. Grew up with those two. So it's like, show me something different. And Marvel is honestly at pretty much every turn showing me something different. Guardians of the Galaxy, I didn't care anything about that until that movie came out. Now it's like, whoa, some interesting characters there. So I honestly, like I said, that's why I put the post up that I put that, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to go ahead and offer my condolences to the cinematic universe, because if Marvel can get this much interest out of me on a character that I've never even had any real interest in, why is it taking DC so long to get characters that I've already liked, known, and grown up with interesting? They haven't really got there yet. It's a shame.
Anything to add to that, Kahuna?
GQ pretty much nailed it on the head with that, man. I mean, you look back when, like he said, Guardians of the Galaxy, man, unless you were really into books, nobody knew who the hell Guardians of the Galaxy was. Nobody at all. And you look, most of everything, all the Marvels that came out, except for maybe Captain America, everybody else was pretty, mediocre type characters. I mean, because Fox already had X-Men, Incredible Hulk and all that. So those were like the top dogs as far as Marvel. But Marvel Studios started putting out all these, mediocre kind of characters that, wasn't really popular in mainstream, pop culture or stuff like that, and made them popular in mainstream culture. And like he said, Doctor Strange, like I said, I remember reading the books when I was little, but, I never retained them. Like he said, I would like to go back and, probably get a couple of trades just to get reintroduce the intro of him, like whatever's gonna, like the villains that's gonna be in the movie, just freshen up on who that's gonna be. I don't want to dive like deep into the Doctor Strange mythos. I just want to get a refresher before I see the movie. But man, I mean, this movie looks like they gonna knock it out the park with this movie. Not like they haven't did it with the other movies, but this movie's gonna be crazy.
Right. Yeah. I had my own take on the movie when I went to go and see it yesterday with you guys. I swear, to me, it seems like there was this edict that went out while they were making this film, right? The edict was whoever was working on the effects, get as high as you possibly can. Take as many drugs as you possibly can. Smoke the premium line of Kush. Come into work and start creating. Because literally, that's exactly what it seemed like to me when I was looking at Doctor Strange yesterday. Because it was just like an absolute trip. It was like, for real. It was like the most out of this world. Like when he was looking at his fingers, and then those fingers had fingers, and those fingers had hands, and it was just like, I was just like,
oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, I was like, what in the hell am I looking at right now? it was insane, absolutely insane.
Yeah, I like to think, growing up back when I was in Hawaii and stuff like that, I was pretty much, I was kind of a loner kind of kid because we lived in the country part of Maui.
Mm-hmm.
So the only time I would see my friends or when I went to my grandmother's house, which was back in the main town.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, I was always by myself. So I have a pretty good, active, crazy imagination.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could have came up with some of the shit that they came up with. So it is like, man, they must have been on some kind of shroom trip or something. And then after we saw that preview, I was like, man, this movie almost makes me want to try shrooms just for November 4th.
Right.
Just
right.
Get that added excitement from the thing. But yeah, I was blown away, man.
Yeah.
Everybody in there was blown away.
Anthony Mister over there in Facebook says like they were on that PCP. Yeah, man, it was kind of like that. Now, GQ, I'm gonna go back to you. What exactly would you say once people go and see this film? What are they going to take away from this film after they see it? In your opinion?
I think what it's going to do, and I think this is what this one is set up to be. It's going to be the gateway into astral plane, into more metaphysical, more of the, this isn't just your standard, regular, everyday. This, because they even had a line in there that the Avengers deal with physical threats. We deal with, things that go beyond that. So I think this is opening it up to the, Thanos and all of the other possibilities of the rest of the Infinity Gems. And I think that's what's going to make this really, really just, I don't know. I think this is just going to make this one just really work. This opens it up to the full-on potential of what can be done with the Infinity Gauntlet. And I just, like I said, with these effects, I cannot wait to see once Thanos gets that gauntlet completely assembled and he has all the powers of a god. I mean, I cannot wait to see what is done with that, because just from an effects standpoint, the reality gem, it's like, dude, this is going to be insane. So
it definitely will be insane.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really looking forward to it, and I don't know if there's an Infinity Stone going to be introduced in this film or not. Technically, only time and soul are left. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with it.
Well, to answer that, I can go ahead and say it because kind of clues have already been there from all the commercials that we've seen and even what we saw in the trailer yesterday. Real quick, I'll say one of the things that I think people are going to take away from this, and this is kind of like one of them funny things. Remember when Doctor Strange was like, I made a joke, I think it was last week. Someone made a gif of him from that commercial that came out when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out. And he was like doing a bunch of these weird hand motions. And I said, Doctor Strange, the Mystic Ranger. One of the things that people are going to take away from this film is him doing all these weird hand motions. People are going to be like these, like he was doing in the trailer yesterday. And I mean, that's going to be one of the things that I think they're going to take away. But to your point of whether there's going to be an Infinity Gem in this movie, yes, there will be. It will be the Time Gem, because as we saw in a lot of the footage that we saw when he was doing his spells, he was rewinding time. It was like he was either rewinding time or making time go forward. So I think that, I think it's going to be in the Eye of Agamotto. I think the Eye of Agamotto is going to end up being an Infinity Stone on its own. So there's that. That's not necessarily spoilers. That's just kind of my opinion and my guess based off of what I've seen. But in any case, I think this film is going to be fantastic.
What about that chase scene? They were running after, chasing Doctor Strange. that scene alone was just ridiculous.
Dude, I mean, it's like if you have any kind of problem with like vertigo or anything like that, don't go see this film in 3D. I'm serious. Don't go see this film in 3D.
If you have epilepsy,
yeah.
If you have vertigo or visual motion sickness, do not see this movie.
Don't go see this film. See, we cannot kill you. If you thought Inception was bad, this is like Inception squared or maybe cubed or something like that. That's how bad it was. Like seriously, that's how bad it was. So yeah, this movie is going to be absolutely fantastic. Marcus Superior Pryor is over there. Marcus Superior Pryor says, don't go licking toads for this movie, Kahuna. Don't go licking toads for this movie. Yeah, that's pretty funny. But again, everybody, welcome to the show. We hope you're enjoying it. We got to go see Doctor Strange last night. It's going to be fantastic. The tickets are on sale now, I think, and tonight we're going to make our Culture Junkies event. We're going to go see it at the MJR Live in Troy, MJR Epic Theater in Troy. So if you're living in the Southeast Michigan area, we hope that you'll join us. Go and buy your tickets like right now. It's going to be fantastic. I promise you, it's going to be fantastic. You got anything to say, GQ, before we move on?
No, I'm good. Like I said, I was looking forward to seeing it on the 4th.
Yeah, it's going to be. I can't even tell you how fantastic it was. So moving right along, next thing we're going to talk about. Supergirl's premiere that came out last night. And of course, everybody's the big thing with Supergirl last night was the introduction of Superman and the big move from CBS to the CW, and whether it was going to end up being a better show or whether it was going to not be a better show. Now, I saw it, Kahuna saw it. I don't know if GQ got around to seeing it, but we're going to kind of give our 2 cents on what we liked about the premiere of Supergirl. We hope you all got to see it. If you got to see it, please put your comments in the chat. We'll be monitoring that. But Kahuna, what did you think of yesterday's episode?
I thought it was a good start. I mean, I'm glad that we didn't have to wait for Superman to appear. Some shows, you get somebody that you're waiting to appear in the show, and it takes like, you don't see it to the end of the episode, or you got to wait an episode or two before it happens. We got to see him, not right in the beginning, but pretty much in the beginning of the show. It was good. What is his name? Tyler Hoechlin, whatever. Yeah. When they first announced him, I pretty much felt that he was going to do good because I was a big fan of him in Teen Wolf. He was really good in Teen Wolf. The only thing I don't like is like everybody's complaint was the suit. The Superman suit is just, it looks so weird. And the whole cape thing, the way the cape is designed is just, it kind of takes away.
What was your problem with the cape?
I don't like the way I don't know, like the whole little part that goes over the shoulder, and I don't know, it looks weird to me. I know, and it's hard when you go from Henry Cavill. We're used to him as Superman now, and now you go back to Tyler. With Tyler, Tyler's a pretty buff dude, but it's he's not Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is jacked.
Yeah.
But also the suit makes him look even smaller than he really is.
Yeah, the suit is not flat.
So yeah, it was a suit. Yeah. But other than that, it was pretty good. We got to see a new DEO station, which is in a actual skyscraper instead of underground. We got introduced to Mon-El. We don't know him as Mon-El yet, but everybody else already knows that.
It's Mon-El.
We know who that is. It was good. We come in, we see Kara's accepted Supergirl now. She's fine with it. She loves being Supergirl, but she has all this other real life issues now. She doesn't know how to balance Supergirl and her personal life. She also has I keep forgetting her name. Her boss's name, Ally McBeal.
Oh, you're talking about Clea Flockhart, who plays Cat Grant. Yeah,
Cat Grant. She she gives her a promotion she can be anything she wants in her company, and she's having problems with that too. She doesn't know what she wants to be. So we're introduced to that dilemma, that whole dilemma that she's going back and forth with, her relationship with Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, but other than that, we got Superman. And like I said, he was good. Other than the suit, he was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the intro at all. And then we also get, towards the end, we get intro to the who's going to be the villain. I don't know who's going to be the villain throughout the whole show, but the first villain we got introduced to.
Yeah. GQ, did you get the chance to see Supergirl last night? And if so, what did you think?
No, I did not get to see it. I'll get around to it eventually. Supergirl, unfortunately, is very low on the totem pole, even with the CW, because again, it's hard for me to sit there and look at a basically B-list, B-level Superman when you have a Superman that they can't even get right in the movies. So it's kind of like I really can't give it much. It's kind of like, if you can't do it right for $100 million, why am I going to believe that you can do it right for like a budget? So I can't really get behind that. I'll get around to it eventually.
Okay. Well, my 2 cents on Supergirl last night, when I saw it, to me, everything with Supergirl was predicated around whether they'd be able to make the show's quality be better. They started with Supergirl because they started with Superman because, as we know, last season Superman was a stand-in. He was like always seen in shadow. He was mentioned but never really fully seen. And they kind of dispensed with that this season, and they brought him in. And Tyler Hoechlin did a very good job from some of the reports that I saw. It was like having him. It was like having Christopher Reeve Superman, but he wasn't like a total chump. He wasn't like a total caricature. His Clark Kent was very well kept. He made mention of the relationship that he's in with Lois Lane right now. He and Lois Lane are dating. Obviously, she probably knows he's Superman. We got knowledge that Lex Luthor's in jail, and Lena Luthor got introduced into the show now. Metallo got introduced into the show. We saw there's some beef between John Jones and Superman last night that is still kind of unresolved. So that was kind of a nice little thing. And then, speaking of Jimmy Olsen, was that not the fastest backwalk that you've ever seen? Like, hey, we're gonna put them together. No, Jimmy, you need to go right on back to the friend zone, because that's exactly where you belong, and that's exactly where Kara put him. I mean, they didn't even get one full-fledged date. They didn't go out nowhere. Jimmy brought her dumplings and pizza, and next thing you know, hey, thanks for the dumplings and pizza. We're better off as friends. I mean, really, man. I mean, my man's got to feel hurt, but you know what? There's news that dropped today that Jimmy Olsen is going to be maybe in some kind of, I don't know, misguided attempt to make himself feel better, is going to become the vigilante known as Guardian. Guardian, who is, if you remember from Young Justice, was Mal Duncan, the black guy. So I don't know how you're going to feel about, Jimmy Olsen all of a sudden becoming Guardian, even though that's kind of like a departure from the source material. But hey, as Eric Joseph told me earlier today, it's better than Turtle Boy, who Jimmy Olsen was in the comic books. So take the pluses where you can get them, right? So
and you know what? And I was glad for the whole they killing the whole Kara Jimmy Olsen relationship, because I definitely didn't want to go through another Olicity. Every episode they having issues with their relationship or focusing, oh, you're not spending too much time with me, you doing this, you doing that. I'm glad they killed it right away. I feel bad for Jimmy though. Jimmy got played to the side real quick.
Yo, man, I mean,
you notice you switch networks, all of a sudden you switch relationship. Because on CBS, that was something that would have been considered a kind of a step forward. On the CW, you notice every black character is relegated to backseat. So it's falling back into their status quo. Because look at that. They took Mr. Terrific, who used to date Power Girl, and made him gay, black, nerdy, and stupid, versus extremely intelligent and, basically, in a sense, dating Power Girl would make you a ladies' man. They took Jimmy Olsen from dating Supergirl, basically, and turned him back into the friend. So it's just basically going back to the status quo that you find on the CW relationships when it comes to interracial relationship.
Food for thought. Food for thought. I mean, we still got Barry and Iris.
Message.
Food for thought. Food for thought.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
We'll see how long. We'll see how long that lasts.
Hey, you know what? That's a perfect segue because let's talk about the Flash, right? Last week we had the Flash. Flash came back, and oh my God, did Barry screw up everything? Oh man, Flashpoint as an episode I thought was really good, but it was like everywhere you turn, you're just like doing this facepalm, like Barry, what the hell are you doing? It's like you messed all of this up just because you couldn't deal with the death of your dad, and then you go and mess up everybody else's life. Joe's a drunk, doesn't talk to his kids. Iris and Wally are teamed up as the dynamic duo pair. The Cisco Ramon is like paid and dating supermodels and stuff like that, and doesn't want anything to do. Caitlin is what was she? What was she, a dentist or something like that? She wasn't even like a scientist or anything like. Or
she was like she was like a obstetrician or some shit like that, or whatever little.
Yeah, obstetrician or something. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, he was. I don't know what to say. Barry is a complete screw up, and I think there's a lot of memes out there right now, talking about. What exactly is how can I put it? What exactly is I don't even know how to say it. What would you think of Barry and his actions and what he's doing and whatnot? Is he like a complete screw up, or can he redeem himself at some point in the season? Because I'm tired of these shenanigans. What do you guys think?
I mean, you can kind of see where he's coming from. He's not taking into account. He's being selfish though, because he's not taking into account to what it does to everybody else in his, everybody else's lives. He's only thinking about, I want my mom and dad, whatever issues he's going through, he wants to fix that. He's not taking into consideration anybody else within his life and their, how their lives will turn out. But now he's seeing he's going to be seeing the repercussions of his selfishness. And I hate to say it, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he fucked up.
That's the best way you can put it. Like, you're really looking forward to I mean, because really, I mean, like, what else can he do to really screw this thing up? I mean, now, even after the resolution of Flashpoint, when seemingly he had to go to his absolute arch nemesis, the Reverse Flash, to help him, put things back and say, hey, and how gut wrenching was it, GQ, to see Thawne basically say, hey, I need to hear you say it. What do you need me to do? I need you to kill my mom. Dude, that was some villain shit right there. Yes, it was, man. What'd you think of that, GQ, and the other stuff falling out from the Flash last week?
I mean, I think it solidifies and cements what Barry needs to understand. He can't always have it his way. And I like it for it to be that literal thing where it's just like, look, you have to tell this guy to kill your mom, because you don't understand that time will do what it needs to do to make things happen the way they need to happen. So I think it's a very, very strong lesson learned for the character, and hopefully it'll stick this time.
You don't know Barry very well now, do you? Because I mean, there was what was that? Did y'all see that Honest trailer that came out for the Flash earlier this week, when they had the Honest trailers and they said for the fastest man in line, he's always talking about getting faster. It's like he doesn't learn his lesson. It's like, I need to get faster. I need to be faster. I need to be faster. I need to run faster. I need to go faster. I'm not fast enough. Recurring theme. There's no way he's going to learn this lesson. No way. There's no way he's going to learn this lesson. But from the trailers that we saw of what's coming up this season, we're gonna see one of the changes that Caitlin's going to be starting to become Killer Frost. We saw that a little bit. Dr. Alchemy, I know very little about him. The Rival, aka Savitar, is also going to be part of the world. So we'll see what else the fallout is going to be. In fact, I'm looking forward to seeing the new episode. Comes on 30 minutes from now. I'm very much looking forward to seeing that. So, any more thoughts on last week's episode before we move on to the next topic? Nope. Okay. One thing that I wanted to get to last week, we also saw, and that's premiering later this week on Thursday, is Legends of Tomorrow. Now, Legends of Tomorrow was a show that can we just be completely honest and frank with everybody here? That show really underperformed. I mean, really, it underperformed. It wasn't as good as it needed to be. Kahuna and GQ, what did you guys think of Legends of Tomorrow, the first season? What was your thoughts on the show? Like, did you hang in there, or was it like one of them afterthought shows? Like it was like, I'll see it when I can see it. Was it must see TV?
For me, I hung in there. I enjoyed the beginning of it. We got to the middle. The middle is where it kind of started falling off. But I pushed through. I pushed through most television series stuff. Try to give it the benefit of the doubt. Like, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And I think sometimes I just get into that habit of I've been watching it all this time, so now it's kind of like routine. Like, okay, superhero stuff that I love, and the TV show, it's not that good, but I'm gonna still watch it just because it's something to watch. It's something good. So, yeah, it started getting better at the end, and yeah, it had its ups and downs, most definitely. This season looks like it's gonna be good. We also said that about the first season, though. We saw that whole sizzle reel for season 2. It looks awesome. It looks awesome. We said the same thing for the first season. So hopefully they learned their lessons from the first season, unlike, Arrow, stuff like that. But anyway,
yeah.
Which we should talk about Arrow too, because that was a pretty good.
Yeah, we'll talk about Arrow too. Which
tomorrow was I'm hoping is going to be good. Like I said.
Well, like I said last week, I think one of the pluses from Legends of Tomorrow is going to be that the Hawks are no longer on the Wave Rider. I mean, they dragged that show. They dragged that show down. I mean, the way it was the first episode, and Hawkman's dead, or was it was like the first episode or second episode or something. It was like Hawkman was dead quick, like real quick.
He died
and then
quick.
he died quick, and then we had to deal with Hawkgirl and Adam, and that whole story. It was just. It just wasn't. I'm glad they were gone. GQ, what did you think of Legends of Tomorrow first season?
First season was okay. It had its moments here and there. Again, it's a time travel show, so you run into the fact that everything you do is going to mess up something, or you can't do it, it's going to mess up something. I mean, again, I didn't care that they killed Hawkman off. I never really liked the character of Hawkman, so I mean, that really thing to me. Hawkgirl still had the Mr. Ed teeth going, but
oh my god,
I mean,
yes.
she was still better to look at than any of the other women on the show. I mean, okay, the only thing I did like is when you get to, I guess, what's leading into the current season, the lead actor from Suits is actually showed up, I guess, to kind of kickstart the Justice Society of America.
Yes, as
so
our man.
Cool. Yeah, so that's pretty cool because I've always liked Patrick McAdams as an actor. Other than that, though, I mean, Legends of Tomorrow was what it was. It was just an offshoot story. Captain Cold and Heatwave obviously made the show, but I mean, again, it's the forced romance between Adam and Hawkgirl, cheesy, and it was what it was. It was just, I think it was a test show that did better than they expected it to do, but not quite enough to be like, this is the best thing ever. But again, we got another season of it, and hey, it is what it is. We'll see where we can go with it. Hopefully, they find some good way to do a big, huge, overarching storyline between all 4 or 5 shows.
Right.
And what I liked about it too was that I like how we're going to get to see Justice Society of America. We're going to get that huge crossover thing. I'm interested to see how Captain Cold is going to get worked into there somehow. Yeah, he died, but like you said, time travel and all that. You know, you can always work something out
I was going to get to that. There were some reports that came out that yes, Captain Cold died last season, but Flashpoint apparently has already undid that. Whereas Captain Cold is actually alive, but he's not on the Wave Rider, or he's like back in Central City for some reason. And he's going to be on a more villainous path because there was a lot of things that we saw, a lot of Easter eggs that we saw in that Legends of Tomorrow sizzle reel. We saw the Barry Allen of 2050, I think, was talking on there, talking about getting to Captain Hunter. We saw Supergirl in there. We saw Oliver in there with Supergirl. We saw, of course, Vixen is joining the show, and I'm really excited about that, having Vixen be on there. That's going to be really cool. Let's see, what else did we see? We saw, the Reverse Flash, Damien Dark is there. You know, it's going to be the Legion of Doom. So it's basically the Justice Society and the Legends of Tomorrow versus the Legion of Doom. So
Merlin's in there too, right?
Yeah, Malcolm Merlin's in there as well. Yeah, so that's going to be an absolutely fantastic, a fantastic take. I can't wait for it to premiere. If this thing lets me down, I will be so disappointed.
How about
because that sizzle reel was just hot.
How about that story we read about how Supergirl is being worked into the whole?
Oh my God, a missed opportunity.
That sucks so bad.
Yeah, that sucks really bad. Now everybody was thinking that the CW when Supergirl came over to the CW that she'd be seamlessly woven into the Arrowverse, and then the report came out earlier. I think what was it, on Monday? I think they said. Oh yeah, well, Supergirl's not gonna be in part of the Arrowverse. She's still gonna be on her own separate Earth. And I was like, man, that's a huge cop out. I was like, y'all had a chance to really meld this thing together and get this thing nice and tight, and you dropped the ball. So, GQ, why do you think they chose to do this? This is just another one of those Warner Brothers blunders, or something bigger at play here?
I don't know if it's going to be so much something bigger. I think the issue is they put all their eggs into putting Superman into the show. So now it's kind of like you almost have the Justice League, minus Batman, of course, on TV now. So you don't want the TV arm to basically do anything that's going to upstage this upcoming movie. Because if you get good enough writers in there, they're going to tell a story that is going to mirror a comic book story, and it's going to be perfect on TV. And then they're going to have this Justice League movie that Zack Snyder's going to put out, and it's going to be like, oh, really? Well, you guys did this better on TV. Maybe I should just watch the TV, versions. So I think that's what they're kind of avoiding, because full well if you have Supergirl, Superman, Flash, Arrow, like basically the Justice League, right there, and you do a good story arc, it's like, damn, Snyder, why are we giving you $100 million, $1 billion to go on TV? Because if you look back at Smallville already did kind of like a Young Justice type thing with Cyborg, Kid Flash, Clark, not being Superman quite yet, and Arrow and Aquaman. So it's just like, CW's already kind of done this once before. So I think they're kind of cooling their jets. So they're like, oh, we'll keep Supergirl kind of away from that, at least from the Arrow crossover, because, once you have an Arrow crossover, Flash is going to show up.
Yep. Flash is going to show up, and we did see him in that Legends of Tomorrow sizzle reel trailer too. I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah.
What was cool about the little Easter egg in Supergirl also is when they was having a little fight or whatever, and they panned to a family, and it was like, we're moving back to Gotham.
Yeah, moving back to Gotham.
They just shot in Gotham. But it's weird that how do you have Superman and Supergirl, yet they don't know the Flash, they don't know Arrow, they don't know all these other superheroes that's in the DC universe. Like Superman and Supergirl are in another dimension. That's crazy.
Well, I have a little bit of a hot take on that, and my hot take is that Supergirl's basically going to be Supergirl and Superman are basically going to be part of a separate Earth because they're too powerful. They're just their power set is too high, and they solve too many of the world's problems too often, too fast, and it would just it just wouldn't work. That's what I think is the reasoning behind all of that.
It's crazy. It's like, so you're never going to have, you can never have a Justice League TV version because she's from another dimension. Now with Flashpoint, I don't remember or understand how Flashpoint really worked, but would Flashpoint, because my thoughts were that Flashpoint was going to fuck shit up so bad that Supergirl was going to somehow be in their world. But would Flashpoint really affect another dimension like that though?
Essentially, because it's time travel, you could say no, and that's
I'm
why
guessing
I think that's why they decided to do it that way.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. That's the only reason I can think of that they still made it separate, because they already established that she was from another dimension. So I was thinking, maybe Flashpoint can't, mess up another dimension.
In certain instances, though, Flashpoint, like even when the Flashpoint paradox, when he went back in time and saved his mom, it basically changed the entire Earth. So you could make the argument that he basically just jumped worlds instead of traveling back through time. So technically, they could have done it that way, to where him jumping back through time, he went to a world where Supergirl and Superman were part of his world, and he could have just progressed forward that way. But I guess they just chose not to do that because it would have meant too much of an overhaul for all of the shows, and that's why they chose not to do that way. But
because they never did explain how, remember when that episode where they did the Flash Supergirl crossover?
Mm-hmm.
Barry,
they didn't explicitly, they didn't say it. They just showed it on the screen and I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later when Barry was experimenting with his speed, and you saw that contraption that he was wearing on his chest, the tachyon thing that he had to help make him go faster, and then he disappeared for a second and then came back, and that was him traveling to Supergirl's world and then coming back, which was odd. I thought that he never said, "Oh my God, guys, I had this adventure. I went there and I saw this girl and she could fly and she was super strong. She was an alien." Didn't say it, and he's still not saying it, which I think is weird. But maybe now this season, they will make mention of it. But real quick, let's move on to Arrow real fast. Arrow premiered to not so great numbers, if we might as well say ourselves. Arrow this season had its season premiere viewership dropped like 35% or something like that. It was a really bad showing. Is Arrow on its? But tonally the show has changed. I think it's moved back towards a darker direction. What do you guys think of the season premiere of Arrow? And is the lower ratings a sign of a bad omen of things to come?
I enjoyed the season premiere. Thought it was good. They went back to, the original Arrow roots as far as the seasons go. I mean, he was back to his dark self. He was killing cats and wasn't even giving a damn about it. They upped the ante on as far as the fight scenes. The fight scenes were way better. They had a little bit better effects also, because one of my issues with Arrow was that, especially in the latter seasons, was when you saw their fight scenes, you could tell it was like choreographed, because they used to move kind of slow. Like, when you show them throwing a punch and a kick and they're doing spinning kicks, I was like, dude, it's so slow. You can telegraph every single move that they're about to make. Mm-hmm. This time, the fighting scenes are so much better. I don't know if they got a new fight choreographer or something like that, but it looked much better. It had better effects to it, and I enjoyed it. I hope it stays this way. I'm glad we don't have to deal with Felicity anymore.
Yeah, Felicity has firmly put Oliver in the friend zone. GQ, what do you think of the Arrow season premiere?
Here's my problem with it, and I agree again. I have no problem with what Kazuna said about them making him darker, going back to killing people. But it's like, okay, which one is it going to be? You got to pick one. It's going to be the vigilante that goes around killing folks, or you're going to be Batman wearing a costume with a bow and arrow. It's like you can't keep changing the tone of the show, and then hopefully, like I said, maybe they're not gonna give us 17 hours of flashbacks this, because if they keep, again, it's like finally have all of these other shows you can play off of, But if you suddenly try to become essentially the Batman of the universe again on Arrow, then it's just like it's not going to work because you have all these other lighthearted shows coming in that could really work with Oliver Queen the way Oliver Queen is in the books, and you're trying to basically make him pseudo Punisher Batman out of all this stuff that you had going. I think it was in season 3, Flash first showed up. So it's like, I don't know. Hopefully they'll do something interesting with it. Again, my biggest gripe with Arrow has always been, you got to have somebody interesting for him to go against, and he doesn't have a huge rogues gallery. He's not Batman, and as much as they borrowed from Batman's rogues gallery, Gotham is kind of screwing that rogues gallery over too because they're bringing out all these characters that didn't even exist until Batman showed up. So it's like, it's they're in a weird spot on that one, and I think it's just, again, who would have thought it would? What is this, season 5 right now?
Season 5,
or season 6? Yeah, season 5. So it's like, who would have thought? Yeah, who would have thought it would have gone 5 seasons? With him not really having much of a rogues gallery to to draw off of. So I mean, they made it this far. They're just going to have to get a little bit more creative, and turning him back into dark brooding Oliver isn't necessarily going to be the best way to do it.
Right.
What about his
What were you gonna say?
Oh, no, I was gonna say he had like a major Batman moment in that show. I forgot exact what the scene was, but it was a bunch of people in the room, and then they panned up to the corner in the rafters, and he's just sitting there silently, all dark. And I was like, dude, that's such a Batman scene right there.
Yeah,
that was like a major Batman moment.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, season 5. I mean, yeah, they put Chad Coleman, I think, is going to be playing the big villain this year, the big bad black guy, gangster guy who I forget what is his calling card again. It's not roses. It's he leaves something on like some kind of gold coin or something like that. I think he leaves on his victims or something like that. I don't know. Just he doesn't move the needle as far as like villains go, because it's like already even in the first episode, like Oliver, kind of like just handled him. And so I don't see him lasting very long. And I guess there's supposed to be another big bad that's coming later this season, but we'll just have to wait and see how Arrow's going to pan out. But dropping 35% off of the season premiere is not a good look. Not a good look at all. So real brief, those are the shows. We've got about a little bit over 10 minutes before we got to get out of here and get ready to watch The Flash. What are you guys looking forward to? You guys are going to go see The Accountant this week. The Accountant drops tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Excuse me. On Friday. Starring Ben Affleck as an autistic, dangerous accountant. What did you guys think of this movie, and are you going to go see it?
Oh, I'm very looking forward to seeing that movie. It looks really good. I'm very interested in his little tics that he has. Like in there, if you guys seen the commercial, every time he's about to do something, he blows his hands. I'm interested to see what the story behind that is, and it just looks like I like to see shows like that. And he looks like he's a very calculated like killer also. And you have to be. He's an accountant for. I think he's accounting for like the mob, or just for bad guys, period, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he comes to like killing people and all that, someone who has those kind of tics and those like rituals where everything has to be perfect and they do the same thing over and over again, is going to be very calculated in what they do. So I love stuff like that. So I think it's going to be a good show, good movie.
GQ.
Honestly, I had some interest in seeing it, and I mean, I'll catch a matinee of it. It's not necessarily like an event you have to go see it on night or anything. It, like Kahuna said, it does look very interesting in the sense of basically Rain Man as a killer, minus the incessant talking. I think it'll be interesting. Ben Affleck is, obviously a very good actor. Definitely earned his stripes playing Batman, much to the surprise of damn near everyone in the world. So I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm really kind of interested to see what that other movie is. They had the poster literally directly across from it at MJR when he's looking like Dick Tracy. So I'm kind of wondering what that movie's all about.
I forgot about that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, they just need to just go ahead and skip it and cast him as Dick Tracy and get it over with. And if Warren Beatty really wants to be in the movie, just make him the chief or something. Because I'm sorry, Affleck in that movie looks just. It's like if you would have took that exact same poster and made it yellow instead of whatever color it was. That's Dick Tracy right there. I'm like, that's insane how much he looks the part. So, dude, do it. Do it and make it. As very, very interesting and cool as the Warren Beatty one was, because that was a masterpiece back in the day, man.
It was. That
outstanding job.
Great. It was. Cinematography wise, it was great.
Yeah, great. I would love to see it updated to that, and put Affleck in the title role. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the account has a pretty solid cast too. You got J.K. Simmons in there.
Yeah,
pretty much you got Batman and Commissioner Gordon in the same movie again.
Yeah, Batman and Commissioner Guns.
Yeah,
so.
Oh yeah, he dieseled up in that, and I'm with GQ on that. I'm definitely going to be seeing that. That's definitely like I'm anxious to see it, but it's still like matinee. The only movie I rarely go to the movies at night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. If there's a bunch of movies I want to see, but I'm not always willing to pay $15 to see that movie.
Right.
It's only like the big, like the comic book movies and certain other movies that I'll go to see it at night. I'll pay the full price. But other than that, yes, it's definitely matinee.
Okay. Well, here's something that is going to be dropping tomorrow, and I think GQ is going to go pick it up, and he'll let us know what he thinks. The PlayStation VR is coming out tomorrow. I was at GameStop kind of looking at it earlier today, and it was just some displays, but the actual device comes out tomorrow. Now, GQ, what are you looking forward to most when you go in and go and see it? Like, are you going to pick up Batman VR? What games are you planning on getting for PlayStation VR to kind of enhance your experience?
Well, actually, it comes out Thursday, but
the lady at GameStop said it came out tomorrow for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
You took a GameStop employee's advice on when something actually comes out.
Well, why not?
Wow.
They're supposed to be the experts, right?
Brave man.
Right?
Brave men. They're supposed to be. They are not the experts. and what it comes out on the 14th, which is Thursday. Yeah, I'm gonna because they have. Here's why she probably thought it comes out tomorrow, because they have the games on sale right now. Okay. It's like, dude, come on now. It's like she should have known better. It's like you guys have been selling games before systems forever. That is, just because the game is out on one day does not mean the system is out the next.
Right.
But yeah, so she was wrong. It comes out on this coming Thursday. Mine is already basically ready to go. I'm getting, I think VR Worlds or some game that's coming in my bundle. Probably going to pick up Batman VR because it's $20. Now here's the problem. At $20, it's probably just a glorified tech demo. I mean, that's there's no way it's a complete game.
Yeah.
But again, for $20, I mean, what do you got to lose?
Right.
So, I mean, so go ahead and get that. The first game that I played on it was Battlezone or something to that effect. Yeah. I want that, but that game is hit for $60 right now, and it's like, you know what? I'll give it like maybe a week or two, and that price will probably come down a little. Very, very limited market on the VR so far.
Yeah, I got to play Battlezone, and what it reminded me of a bit. Remember back on the old Atari 2600, and what was it? It was like what? It was Battlezone, wasn't it? Was it Battlezone or was it? Yeah, it was Battlezone.
It's the same. Yeah, same name.
Okay, yeah. So it reminded me a lot of that. Kind of the slow moving tanks, the weapons. Of course, they didn't have the aerial drones or whatever in there, but I thought it was kind of fun. The one game that I played that I really really liked, and this is just me being having an affinity for flying, was Eve Online Valkyrie. I think that's what it's called.
Okay. I saw that one.
It was really fun. It was really fun. It simulated you being in the cockpit of a starfighter, and you're flying around and shooting stuff, and you look over on the side of your cockpit, see who's dogging you and stuff like that. That one I think could be the one that could really put VR over the top as far as like an experience. Now I heard, when is that Resident Evil one supposed to come out? I heard there's a Resident Evil one or some kind of zombie game.
Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 is supposed to be VR compatible.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then and also I don't know when, but there's supposed to be a free download for Battlefront that's gonna basically get an X-wing VR experience.
Oh,
So that's gonna
yes,
be
I would
obviously
kill.
yeah. Yeah, so
Kill
that's
to do
obviously going to be something that's going to be big coming up. Real quick out of the
Heck
chat,
yeah.
Marcus Pryor is asking if anybody's picked up 2K17
I have.
or Gears 4. My
I have.
2K17 is still on its way because a certain store that will remain nameless, Target, basically messed up my order. So I'm going to get the NXT version probably tomorrow.
Oh, excuse me. I thought you were talking about NBA 2K17. Should have known. You're talking about wrestling, WWE 2K17. Okay, you're getting the NXT version. You said Gears of War 4. I did buy for my PC because the cross-platform play. Sev convinced me to buy it. So me and him and Megashawn are going to be doing some streaming on Twitch, playing Gears of War at some points. As soon as it downloads, it's like a 74 gig download, man. I've been downloading it since last night, yesterday. It's still not done. I need to get that.
I always buy. That's why I always buy physical.
There is no physical for the PC. There is no physical for the PC. I don't have an Xbox, so I had no choice but to download this thing. And believe me, I wish there was a physical. I really do, because. If I do get a I'm not gonna get one, so it's not even worth talking about. Kahuna, any final thoughts before we get out of here, my friend?
No, just ready to watch Flash, those agents
and Agents of Shield. So Agent May will be back,
May.
banging on the walls, going like a crazy person, man.
Agent May, or as I call her, Agent Bay.
Agent Bay, right? Agent Bay. So yeah, GQ. Any final thoughts before we go on ahead and get out of here? He must have froze up. So anyway, yeah, guys. We thank you guys for joining the show tonight. We had a really good time bringing the show to you. We know there was a little bit of droppage for frames or something. I know it was lagging a little bit. Well, sorry about that. Thank you for hanging in there as long as you did. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please do subscribe to us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch some prior episodes and some other stuff that we did, like when Philip 2.0 did his little review of the Soft Swab. That was some funny stuff. You'll find it on our Facebook page as well. Recommend us to your friends. We'll be back here next week, Tuesday, at 7 o'clock p.m. It's our new permanent time. We're going to do an hour every week from now on instead of just half an hour. So make sure you tune in at 7 o'clock p.m. next week, Tuesday. Also, come back on Thursday for the League of Extraordinary Fangirls and their show, which starts at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. For GQ, for Big Kahuna, I'm Kenshiro. We'll see you guys later. Have a great week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Adios.
Yeah, adios. You know, there's one thing I guess you could say about Barium running through time. You know, anytime you see him saying, "Oh no, I lost something," he gets ready to speed up his speed. He just says this. He says, "I got a bad feeling about this." So anyway, we'll see you guys later. Enjoy the Flash. Have a good night.
You couldn't give me Speed 4 because I was trying to see how bad I could fuck the timeline up. I would purposely try to mess and see how bad I could get it.
Go back and run back through time and play the lotto or just rob banks or something like that.
Oh my god, it's best that I don't have the Speed Force.
Yeah.